Audio check.
Test.
Ready? Let's go.
Ready for a new era.
Of racing in the Middle East.
6 rounds of competition.
More excitement.
Let out into the new season.
We are the first generation.
Ready to get started.
We are
The Porsche Carrera Cup Middle East.
We are the Porsche Carrera Cup Middle East and we welcome you from Bahrain. It's race weekend 2 of this championship. It's lovely weather, we can see it here. The Bahrain International Circuit. What a great venue where we already kicked off the season 4 weeks ago, and I'm happy to welcome the head and promoter of this series, Robert Lechner, who's sitting next to me. Robert, great to have you here and great to be back in Bahrain.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Eric, and thank you everyone who's online watching our qualifying here at the Bahrain International Circuit, coming up in a few minutes for round 2 of the Porsche Carrera Cup Middle East. So big shout out and welcome to all the drivers, the team members, everyone who's here in the paddock. Thanks for joining us, and yeah, super exciting to be here with you, Eric.
As you said, we are looking forward to seeing the qualifying for the race that is scheduled this afternoon, 3:30 local time here in Bahrain. And we have seen great races here 4 weeks ago when we were kicking off the season. And what we already can say is, Robert, we are seeing so many young guns, young drivers participating this year in the Carrera Cup, and very promising drivers as well, as we see the GT3 cars coming out of the pits, getting ready for qualifying with Klaus Bönninghausen, the father of one of these young guys I just spoke of. Robert, I think you can be proud of having these young guns that will definitely have a career in motorsport in the future.
Absolutely. I mean, it's a great possibility and opportunity for them to join us here during the European winter time, where temperatures are going down. Actually, it was already snowing in my home country in Austria. So definitely when we...
So did it in Germany.
So now you know Eric's from Germany, I'm from Austria. Sorry about our accent, but we are super excited. And yeah, from the Lechner Racing side, I must say we are doing this series here since 2009. We are already in season number 15. So what started back in 2009, exactly here at the Bahrain International Circuit. We have lots of support and also great friends here in the Middle East, and especially in our second home in Bahrain. So what started in 2009 as the GT3 Cup Challenge turned into a sprint challenge in 2019. And for the very first time, a few weeks ago, we started a new chapter as the Porsche Carrera Cup Middle East.
And how important was that? Let's talk a little bit about the Porsche Carrera Cup, about the series. You just said it was a sprint challenge the last years, where we've already seen great competition in different classes, as we will see this weekend. But how important was it to get that predicate to be a Carrera Cup?
I mean, we've been here in the region for so long, but now being a Porsche Carrera Cup, it's an ideal platform for the local and all international drivers, and even for professional teams to come here, to compete, to participate in this part of the world, in this region. Basically, the very successful Porsche formula, which is one-make racing, and especially the 911 GT3 Cup car. It's worldwide known for exciting racing, but also for a very difficult car to drive. So if you plan a career in GT racing, or if you want to compete in any other Carrera Cup or even Super Cup next year, this is exactly the car, this is the track, this is what you need to keep racing over the winter time, to keep preparing. And as we see some of our Pro-Am drivers going out here, it's great to see that we have so many drivers coming back to Bahrain, coming back to the Middle East, and joining us here, no matter if it's a GT3 Cup Challenge or if it was a sprint challenge, especially now as a Carrera Cup. we can see now, Eric, with the Carrera Cup, there's more interest from young drivers. There's more interest from our young guns, as you call them. So we have 7 junior drivers in the field this weekend. And this is exactly what you have said. Those are the guys to watch for a career in racing. Those are the guys who will be the former factory drivers.
And we can see them also in the summer season, in the Porsche Super Cup, for example. We've seen Harry King last year participating a few races here in the Middle East. We see very promising drivers, as you said, and as you mentioned, we have Pro-Am class drivers, we have AM class drivers, and the Pro for sure. What's the idea behind the different classes in the series?
So very clearly, everyone is using the same car, the 911 GT3 Cup car. We see Søren Sprang here in the beautiful number 5 car for his team GP Elite from the Netherlands. Søren Sprang, the champion in the Pro-Am category of the Porsche Carrera Cup in Deutschland, Germany. So yeah, he's warming up his tires to prepare for qualifying. And yeah, he's one of those drivers who is driving without ABS, without traction control. Pro-Am clearly says he has a very professional approach. Yeah, he's training hard for this. He has also lots of years of experience. And if I see his teammate behind in the GP Elite car, Cedric Jazang, he has less experience. He was still in our AM category last year, so he was still allowed to use traction control. He was still allowed to work with ABS to get used to the GT3 Cup car. But he stepped up to the Pro-Am category. So this basically explains, it's a perfect example, we saw those 2 cars next to each other. So it explains where you start, how you end up to one day be maybe in the Pro car. We see here our championship leader and also the fastest man from free practice, Theo Oberhaus, not yet in the car.
He won the first ever race of this championship. Also, as we are talking about the promising young drivers, one of those, and you already had a guest start in the DTM. I think he was one of the youngest ever participating in the German Championship.
If not the youngest. I've been told he was the youngest driver ever.
I'm sure you're right.
In DTM. I'm not so sure about that, Eric, but yeah, I was with a different brand, but it's good to see him with Porsche and doing so well, and I'm sure he will hit the track a little bit lighter. And the track usually, we have a 5.4 kilometer lengths here at the Bahrain International Circuit, and we have 15 turns, so 15 corners. So the track usually gets a bit faster throughout the session. And as we have one qualifying today for our first race later on in the afternoon, and as we have a different and second qualifying session for grid positions of tomorrow's race, so this will also take place tomorrow, the second qualifying, it's very clear that everybody will only use one set of fresh tires. So all the cars you see now are on fresh Michelin tires, long Porsche partner. So they're now warming up the tires. They're trying to get heat and temperature in the tires. And they will use the same set later on in the race this afternoon.
And what we can say is it's not that hot, like we've experienced that 4 weeks ago with the first event here in Bahrain when we were together with the World Endurance Championship. So, well, we are seeing sprint races later on, but I think tire degradation shouldn't be such an issue under these conditions when it's not that hot.
I mean, the asphalt here in Bahrain is really hard to the tires, which is somehow good for the drivers and the cars because it shows and gives them a lot of confidence. So basically it shows that the track has a lot of grip. And so the tire does have a peak. Every new tire in every racing car, if it's F1 or if it's the Porsche Carrera Cup Middle East, you always have a peak in that tire. So if you warm it up properly, and we now see 5 cars on track, so we see we have seen Søren Sprang, his teammate Cedric Jazang, we see Leo Willard from Austria, and Sebastian Gorber.
A friend of yours, you can say a friend to Lechner Racing, and great to have him here again.
For sure, we'll talk about him when we see his car in the 63 car. But let's follow Søren because it looks like he's getting ready for his braking light here. That was a little bit of a lock-up. Very difficult left-hander. Turn number 10 that was. So that's the back straight behind the support pits. So that's usually where we operate during F1 and WC. We operate from the support pits garages. This weekend we are operating from the F1 pits.
And there we see Theo Oberhaus, the man who's leading the championship, who took the very first victory in the Porsche Carrera Cup Middle East. was a night race here in front of the WEC crowd. So for sure, great victory for him. I spoke with him yesterday, and for sure, it's good to be in the history books with the very first victory that is possible in the championship. And for sure, he wants to secure the title this season. So it's important for him. After, as you said, being the rookie champion in Germany, he definitely wants to clinch this title this season.
So we've just seen the fastest lap time so far set by Søren Sprang with a 2 minutes 03.7. So that makes him our leader right now.
Well, there's a lot of room to improve. We've seen a lot of times already yesterday and in the morning in the free practice session, but Søren Sprang was on the podium in the Pro-Am class.
Oh, another lock-up here. It's easy to lock up the inside right-hand wheel turn 4. So he's definitely pushing, Eric. You can see his guys moving, and he's definitely pushing. Here we have Sebastian Gorga from Italy, a man who started racing just recently. It was his first ever race with us here in November. And he's coming out of the Porsche racing experience. So he did bring his own instructor along, and yeah, definitely also a man to watch. He was very fast already in the first weekend, winning the AM category. And he decided to step up really, not just category-wise, because you can also decide to run without ABS, for example. You don't need to. It's not mandatory. It's just the recommendation. And he decided to stay in the AM category, but drive without ABS and without traction control, which clearly shows AM means very ambitious. He wants to step up as soon as possible to the Pro-Am category. And especially when you see Søren here, if he wants to go racing in Europe, if he wants to go racing, for example, in Germany, that was a nice exit by Søren. If he wants to compete with guys like him in Europe, then you have to race without ABS and without traction control.
But as you're talking about experienced, Sebastian experienced the crash yesterday, quite severe, but it's good to have him back and seeing him racing today.
I didn't want to mention. That's fine. That's why.
Job.
No, that's why you are the commentator and you are the journalist, and I'm the former racing driver, so I know exactly how it feels. Yeah, he had a very unlucky crash yesterday, so he's basically in a different car today. But it's all good, and most important, he's safe. Nothing happened, and a car can always be repaired. But for now, we have chosen to replace the car. And it's good to see him back, because it's the best thing to do here. We have him again, Sebastian. The best thing is to straight away go back into the car, try to find your confidence, go back to, do what you really love to do, what you really enjoy to do, and ideally into the rhythm of racing.
Still 20 minutes to go in the qualifying session. We are seeing Søren Sprang, the Pro-Am driver, with the fastest time so far, and then it's the AM drivers you mentioned with Cédric Chasnon, the French guy Leo Willard from Austria, Sebastian Gorga, and Klaus Böninghausen, the father of Colin Böninghausen, which we expect to be in front very much in the first or the second row on the grid today.
And here we have Leo Willard in the number 63 car, the beautiful arts car. Another great design. Leo Willard from Austria, from Vienna. You've mentioned already a dear friend of mine. I already met him during my own racing career back in 2007. So yeah, he really loves cars. He really loves racing. He was a GT4 champion here in the region. Stepping up to the GT3 Cup car for sure is a different ball game, a different kind of racing experience. But what else, apart from being a car enthusiast, a petrol head, and a racing driver? He's a great musician. He's a drummer. And I was invited to a very special birthday party just a couple of weeks back, and yeah, it's just great to see him perform behind the drum set. So yeah, I'm also a hobby drummer myself, and I can tell you, Leo is the way better drummer, and I wish him good luck for the weekend. So is anyone else really, because we as the organization, we are here to ideally deliver the platform to help locally with all the logistics. But at the end of the day, we want people to be safe. Most important, and the best and fastest driver may win at the end of the day.
And I think the band is called the Heizer Monkeys, and that's also the name of his team. He's the Heizer Monkey team.
Heizer Monkey Racing Team. I think they have some great videos on YouTube. Great lead singer, Joe. And in case you guys are watching, you're a drummer, so best regards from the Kingdom of Bahrain. And definitely, let's see the lap time. It's 2:06 for Leo now. It's P3 right now. So he's leading the AM category, just ahead of Sebastian Gorga by a bit less than 1/10. So yeah, these guys have their own battle for AM trophies. So we have 3 drivers competing in AM, which is Leo Willert, Sebastian Gorga, and from Germany, Klaus Bönninghausen. So 1 Austrian, 1 Italian, and a German. That's kind of a very Central European mixture.
Absolutely. And we are waiting for the Pro and the Pro-Am drivers. Seems like they're really waiting for the best track condition possible. We see Leo Willert again, the man from Austria, who I remember, Robert, had some kind of race that was on his bucket list. And it was when we were on Yas Marina, and he was delighted to do that race. Did you speak with him about that one?
Sorry, I was just watching the times. Sorry.
I just mentioned that Leo Willert had that race in Yas Marina, which had been some kind of really
yes,
to
yes.
do, and he had it on his bucket list, and I think he was just...
yeah, he was super proud, and the Yas Marina circuit, a track we will visit later on in the championship at the end of January. We have 6 rounds in the championship, and definitely Yas Marina Island and the great Abu Dhabi facility is another super track to experience here in the region. I was just watching the
now
times.
He's getting ready, as we spoke about the Oberhaus. He's ready to step into the car and do the qualifying. He's definitely one of those drivers we expect to be in the first row.
Yeah, for sure. And together with Flint Schuring, we have mentioned Colin Bönninghausen, we have Charlie Woods here, and also we have a fast man from Australia joining us.
This is Ahmad Al-Kherab, the man from Kuwait, in the Pro-Am class, very fast man. I'm sure he will be battling for the first position in the Pro-Am class here. Excuse me,
No.
interrupted you.
All good. Søren did improve his lap time, as we see him here in the picture. It's always good to talk about the picture. You're absolutely right. So Søren improved himself to a 2:03.7. So very good lap time. Let's see what the other guys in Pro-Am, for example, Cedric, just following him here, was doing a 2:04.1. It would be good to also have left if our director can hear us. It would be good to have maybe the standings as we progress throughout the qualifying. If you could please bring up the names and so we can show it to everyone online, that would be lovely. Thank you. And yeah, it's 21 degrees here. So for those who are wondering, it's thank you so much.
Here we see it.
And
Søren Spreng, first position.
It's 1:30. It's 1 o'clock right now. 20 temperature. So ideal conditions really for the cars. Yes, the engine is happy, it's not too hot. The tires don't intend to overheat. But also for the drivers in the cockpit. Yeah, we see Bashar Madini, our last year's Pro-Am champion, man from Canada who is living and working in Dubai, coached by your next co-commentary. Yeah?
Christopher Zechling is the man who is taking care of him, and he will be by my side when we'll be back for the race. As I said, it's 3:30 local time, so -2 in Germany, Europe, -3 in the United Kingdom.
Exactly in 2 hours, wherever you are right now. So exactly 2 hours we'll be back with that race. And it's great to have Christopher, thank you for that, Zechling, with all his experience as a racing driver and successful cup racing driver as well, helping out with Eric here, commentating the race, while I will be excited. And I'm also excited now to watch the young drivers from Team Saudi Racing, official team, official team from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, being run and led by Paul Sponer, very experienced man from England. He was one of the first guys here in the Middle East. And then we see Charlie Woods in the number 7 car.
This is a very interesting young man. I mean, as we spoke about the Austrian connection so far with Leo, now we have one of the sons of Alex Wurz, the former Formula 1 driver, who was, Charlie was already competing in the championship in a GT4 car. And I think we have to mention he did his very first Formula 3 race just a few weeks ago in Macau. And now he's coming back and driving a GT3 car. I mean, that's just an amazing and challenging task anyway.
Absolutely, and it's great to have the Woods name back. Long time also good friends and long time relationship between the Woods and the Lechner family. And of course we follow all sons basically. Alex has 3 sons and Julia. I hope they're online listening. Some were busy, I think, in Dubai doing their own kind of event, but Charlie just turned 18, so he's old enough to come here on his own with his younger brother Oscar, who's competing in F4 this weekend. So definitely, you just said it, coming from F3, it's not an easy step, stepping kind of back when it comes to the speed, but stepping up in terms of the weight, because these cars are really heavy. You can't see your front wheels. You know, I had a conversation with him just yesterday, and he said, yeah, the braking is really tough, because in a single seater, of course, you see your front tires, you see your wheels. Whenever you lock up an inside wheel or whatever, it's easier to kind of spot, it's easier to figure out and also to control. But on the other hand side, it's so important for a young racing driver to, yes, focus on a single-seater career as long as you're young enough, as long as you have people behind you, but at the same time make a name in GT racing with manufacturers. And this is exactly what Theo also has proven in the German Carrera Cup, being the rookie champion. And he's now just ahead of Charlie, so that could be quite good. Charlie's still warming up tires, so could be interesting for him to try and follow Theo. But at the same time, he's followed by Saud Al-Saud and Khalid Al-Ahmadi, our Saudi Arabian duo.
Yeah, we've seen these 2 young men already competing in the GT4 2 years ago. Had a nice battle, but still a really friendly atmosphere in the team between these 2 competitors. Always good to see them on a racetrack.
Great and big sportsmanship. And as I said, Paul Sponer is leading that team. He has so much experience from being a racing driver, being a professional instructor, running a team, looking for talents, and especially here in the region. It's so important to find local talents, and being a regional championship, that's definitely also a very important mission that we have here for everyone in the Middle East.
I think it's fair to say that you're some kind of pioneers in the region here. And what do you say? How did motorsport and the interest in the region develop in the last years?
I mean, it all started like 20 years ago with the first F1 Grand Prix, exactly here at the Bahrain International Circuit. It took place on April the 4th in 2004. I always keep saying a very easy date to remember, 040404. So even I can remember that. And in 2005, we, from the Lechner Racing side, joined the support event with our Porsche Mobile 1 Super Cup. So we were invited to join the event here in the Kingdom. And I remember we won that race with Richard Westbrook. And ever since, of course, we kind of made connections, made friends. And the championship itself started in 2009, as I've said earlier. So we are really happy and really proud that we could maintain those friendships, those relationships, and keep talents like Charlie Woods, for example, like Theo Oberhaus, like all the young guys. I wait to see Flint. I'm sure he's out there, Flint Schuring. And definitely I see Khalid Al-Ahmadi, who was a GT4 champion. Then we see Saud Al-Saud, who was our rookie champion last year in the GT3 category. So they're all trying to follow Charlie now and get a bit of a slipstream, and that's something really good to do.
Eight minutes to go. We still have Søren Sprang, the man from Germany in the Pro M class, on pole position. Behind him, it's the Frenchman Cédric Chasson from the team GP Elite. We've seen him before. Well, this is definitely a young man who wants to win that race. I spoke with him yesterday in the afternoon. I was like, so what's the target for you here? I mean, coming from F3, we just spoke about it, and then switching to the GT3 Cup car, he said, well, the target is P1 for sure. That's why I'm here.
That always needs to be the target for any young driver. And at the same time, it's also important to be realistic. And having said that, great job by Charlie yesterday. He was 7/10 off in our test day yesterday. First time in the GT3 Cup car without any driving aids like any ABS or traction control. So I also expect him to improve throughout the session now and even so later on in the race. Nice to see him also to stay within the track limits. We had a very good driver's briefing yesterday by our race director, Chris Norman, from Sascha Maaßen, experienced former factory driver for Porsche. He's also looking after each year after the Porsche Junior. So a man who is helping us out here and guiding all drivers, but mainly focusing to help and support the junior drivers here in the championship and on the grid. So Charlie is now to a 2:03.0. So he was already a bit faster yesterday, but this was his first flying lap.
Yeah, but we will see the times dropping now. See an absolute best sector 2 from Colin Boninghausen, is that correct?
Yeah, you're right. I just see the lap appearing due to track limits. I was just mentioning the one. It wasn't the one corner that I have seen.
Murphy's Law.
It's good to see him staying within the track limits because we had some issues there already yesterday. And then
so his time was deleted.
But now he's behind Theo, so I think it would be a good advice to just stay there. He has been the fastest man in testing yesterday, so this is where you can easily learn and improve. And here we have Colin no, that's Flint, sorry, Flint Schuring, of course.
The younger brother of Boris Schuring, who was competing in the Porsche Mobil 1 Super Cup last season, had 2 victories there. One of them in Zandvoort, which was definitely amazing for him. And his younger brother, for sure, wants to follow his footsteps. As I can see that Janez Diak, another very young, I mean the youngest guy we have here is 16 years old, set the fastest time so far.
We could not see his car on TV yet, the black and gold car. But yeah, the first 2 cars in the 2.2 is Janez Diak, Flint Schuring.
It's 2.2684. The young German.
Okay, now we have Theo and Charlie in second. So we have Theo Oberhaus leading with a 02.40 and a 02.56. So you see, Charlie did exactly what I said. Ideally, try to follow, try to kind of not catch up, just really stay in the slipstream. And let's see if Theo, because his fastest sector was the last one, so I would expect Theo to go for another fast lap because it was only his first flying really qualifying lap. Here we have Janez Diak, thanks to our director, so the youngest driver in the field in the number 40 car.
16 years old, and I read his idol is Kevin Estre. So he seems to be very focused on GT racing.
Very much so. Lovely kid and also lovely family. I'm sure they're watching us from Germany, and yeah, they can be very proud. He managed to jump on the podium already for round 1, and he's now jumping to pole position, provisional pole position. Wow, 2:02.34. Janez Diak, the youngest man in the field with provisional pole, and we only have 3 minutes 20 to go. So wow, that's great. The second time here on this track. He collected some kind of podiums.
Oh,
that's Charlie.
Charlie Woods with a spin. And Janez Diak, he has a very good coach here. We have to mention that. It's Larry Tenforde, so it seems to work.
I mean, Larry, I always call him the champion, the 2 times Mobile One Super Cup champion, the multiple Carrera Cup champion. It's always good to have him around. There's lots of respect from both sides. Even we somehow are competitors in my other job, in my other world, running a Super Cup team.
A very successful Super Cup team.
Thank you so much.
I can mention that. It's fair enough to say.
Thank you, Eric. But it's always good to see Larry here, and especially when he can help young drivers share his experience. And it did work out for Janne. Now we see an improvement by Theo Overhaus. I think that was a... So we see Theo now jumping to provisional pole.
There we have the spin of Charlie Woods. Just coming far too fast into...
He was losing the rear. It was turn 10, a very tricky corner. He was still trying to follow Theo, so that's normal. And I can imagine he lost the rear because he was late on the brakes. It's a very tight left-hander, and then the car naturally becomes loose on the rear. And yeah, especially when your engine is at the back. Once the car comes loose, you have lots of weight that starts rotating. And this is again different to a single-seater where you have a mid-engine concept. So that's also good for him to learn and to improve. Still sitting in P3, Charlie Woods. Janne Stiak in P2. And Theo Overhaus, we just saw it before the replay, he jumped to P1 provisional pole with quite a margin of nearly 3/10. We see Colin Benninghaus in P4, Flint Schuring in P5.
And a young
Here we
man
have Flint
from
Schuring.
Australia with Jackson Walls. He was second in the Porsche Carrera Cup Australia last season.
Let me see what Flint is doing now, because overall best first sector, personal best second sector. So he's now coming to not hopefully throwing it away in the last sector. So stay focused, stay concentrated, watch the track limits as he goes on to start and finish. Let's see where this will bring him.
Flint Schuring, 16 years old as well, very young man from the Netherlands.
So on the timing screen, he's jumping up to P4. So I can see he's jumping up. Now Colin improved as well. So times are dropping now as we have basically the last minute running. Flint Schuring, times are super close also, because we have like 3 guys, Colin Benninghausen, Charlie Woods, Flint Schuring. They all do a 2:0.5. So these 3 guys are within 700ths of a second.
So this is definitely the
1/10.
showdown of that qualifying, and it's amazing to see the young drivers are all very close together.
So that was,
So we see this is
improved
the
to
car
P4.
of Jackson Walls, the man from Australia I just mentioned.
His first visit to the Middle East, first time part of our championship in P6. And then we already in P7 we talk about the leader in the Pro-Am, which is our Kuwaiti friend Ahmed Al-Shehab. Super fast and great personality coming from Kuwait in
And here
front.
we see the pole setter. It's the young German, Theo Overhaus. Congratulations to the man in the yellow and red DHL car. Oh, he's happy.
Very happy. And he has a new overall, so he was super happy already. And now he needs to go weighing, very important for all drivers. Don't forget to go to the official scales and note it. Maybe you want to carry on with Pro-Am and
Yeah, just let's
results.
bring it together. Exactly. So we saw Theo Overhaus, who is on pole position this afternoon. Janne Stiak, the youngest driver of all, on P2. Colin Böninghausen, another German talent. On P3, Charlie Woods. In the end, he's on 4th position, ahead of Flint Schuring, the young man from the Netherlands. And as you mentioned, Ahmed Al-Shehab, he's leading the Pro-Am class, ahead of Khaled Al-Ahmadi from the Saudi racing team. Bashar Madini, the man who has Christopher Zechling as his coach here, behind him. And, well, Søren Spreng, he was leading for a long time. He's 10th overall now, and let's have a look into the AM class. In the end, it's Sebastian Gorga who made it. The man who had that accident yesterday, switched cars, but was the fastest man today. Congrats to Sebastian, and then we have Leo Willert and Klaus Böninghausen, the father of Colin Böninghausen, who said to me, I was so bored I had to race again. So he's back with us again.
We need more fathers like. Thank you, Klaus, for joining. So we have 7 drivers, 7 pro drivers in the top 7. So with Jannes Dierk here, the young German in P2, so starting from the front row. Great job as well. I think it's his first front row start ever in a Porsche Cup car, so well done. And then we have 6 drivers in the Pro-Am field altogether and AM field, where we have beautiful drone shots, aerial shots from the Bahrain International Circuit. You see the sea, the coastline at the end, the top of the screen. And here we are with the results, Eric.
Here we see it again, just as we said. The young man from Germany, Theo Overhaus, who was the guest starter in the DTM, the youngest ever, as Robert just found out. And yeah, it's 3 German drivers, so seems that there are a lot of talents, at least in GT car racing from Germany, with Jannes Dierk and Colin Böninghausen and Charlie Woods, as mentioned. His brother is racing here in the Formula 4, and you will see the second page of it. Cédric Chasson, we spoke about him in the AM class, the man from France. So, Robert, that was just the little start of the day for us with qualifying here. We see some highlights of the session.
Well, thank you, Eric. Thanks for being here, and thanks to our production company. And we really look forward to the race this afternoon. I want to be, and I need to be close to the drivers. And definitely, let's hope for an exciting race. We saw Theo Overhaus quite confident in pole position. We saw a fight for the front row, which at the end went to Jannes Dierk. It's good to see Ahmed Al-Shehab leading Pro-Am. We saw Charlie Woods not only spinning, we saw him fighting for the best possible qualifying. So he row, Flint Schuring, 3rd row in P5. Definitely, so I expect a quite close battle in the front and in the Pro-Am field as well.
It's always great to have you here, and great to have you watching us. We'll be back this afternoon, 3:30 local time, 1 o'clock, 30 minutes in Europe. And then we will have the second round, the first race of that weekend here in the Porsche Carrera Cup Middle East on that fabulous track here in Bahrain. Thanks for watching so far. See you later.
I hope so. Thank you again. Thank you, Eric. Thank you, everyone involved. Thanks to all the drivers, all team members. Big shout out to everyone in the Lechner Racing organization, to all the other teams, Saudi Racing, GP Elite. Yeah, it's good to see all cars are in shape, all cars are in place. Thank you so much, and see you later.
Audio check.
Test. Ready? Let's go.
Ready for a new era
of racing in the Middle East.
6 rounds of competition. More excitement.
Let out into the new season.
We are the first generation.
ready to get started.
We are
The Porsche Carrera Cup Middle East.
I'm not sure if they're cleaners, security, or really spectators.
Doesn't matter.
Yes, I'll just with the commentary now, so 2 seconds, thank you.